Climate change is a huge challenge impacting humans, animals, and natural systems. Recently, tropical forests have been destroyed and depleted of biodiversity, leading to an increase of carbon in the atmosphere. Conservation of tropical forests is a vital part of addressing our impact on the planet, as deforestation plays a huge role on emission of greenhouse gases, biodiversity loss, and other environmental impacts. Trees act as carbon sinks by removing CO2 from the atmosphere through the process of photosynthesis. Trees act as a barrier to floodwater as well as preventing floods through soil conservation, which provides soil drainage. Trees also support biodiversity, and they provide oxygen, medicines and natural products, ecosystem health, and intrinsic beauty. Deforestation is occurring at greater rates than ever before. Reasons behind this issue include logging and extensive clearation of trees, industrialized farming, and people clearing forests to build homes and other anthropogenic infrastructure. Illegal hunting accounts for loss of many species, on top of 137 species that go extinct daily due to the acres cleared. The main reason for this deforestation is industrialized farming related to growing crops to feed livestock. Animal agriculture is responsible for up to 91% of Amazon destruction.
Environmental conservation and social impacts go hand in hand, so when we protect our environment, we are also benefiting society. Deforestation has a major impact on our planet. First is the loss of ecosystem services and benefits that forests provide for us in our ecosystem. Also, the carbon in the atmosphere is released from the trees once they're burned down because the trees act as carbon sinks. And then lastly, the use of the deforested land is used for industrial farming, which is the number one cause of climate change due to the emissions of methane, CO2, nitrous oxide, and other pollutants it emits.
Conservation is protecting degraded land in the tropics and allowing for natural regeneration to occur. Conservation is the number 5 drawdown solution to reversing global warming. Currently, only 18% of tropical forests and 9% of dry forests are protected.
There are multiple solutions to addressing this issue. First is the obvious solution, increasing the amount of conserved and preserved tropical forests. Next is changing consumption, which is specifically limiting meat. Currently in history, more meat is being consumed than ever before. Rainforests are borne down for the purpose of growing crops to feed livestock, so it is important to limit meat consumption and strive towards a plant-based diet. Next is supporting sustainable industries and being aware of companies you are endorsing. It is really important to read food labels, as palm oil is in many products and its extraction is responsible for extensive deforestation throughout forests in Asia. Also, increasing government regulations on farming industries and industries that deforest land. Another thing that would be important is to build relationships between governments and industries to increase sustainable land use and implement mechanisms to reduce emissions. Restoration and reintroduction mean that we have to convert farmlands back to forested lands and reintroduce tree species to environment. Lastly, agriculture needs to become more sustainable to support sustainability.
There's a lot of disparity and injustice involved with deforestation and conservation on a social level. Deforestation results in displacement of indigenous cultures and societies that rely heavily on ecosystem services of tropical forests. Regulating land use impacts individuals living in rural areas who are experiencing poverty more than those who are not as reliant on the natural resources of the tropical forest. This is because these rural residents rely on occupations such as logging and hunting endangered species to provide for their families. As there is a variety of individual issues and factors that come with deforestation of tropical forests, the solution lies in a variety of implementations such as stronger government policies, increasing awareness through education, voting for leaders who stand for conservation, and beginning movements.
This issue can be addressed in Vermont and Burlington. Vermont currently has 4.5 million acres of forested land, so 73% of Vermont. and currently 1.5 million acres of that is protected through the value appraisal law. Something we could do is to increase the amount of protected land and also encourage sustainable farming, as there's a lot of farming going on in Vermont. In Burlington specifically, there are multiple natural areas, including Centennial Woods, Lone Rock, Red Rocks, and more areas. Continuing to conserve these areas is really important. Another thing is that Burlington includes many forward-minded people, and these people should come together to make their voices heard and begin a movement for conservation.